Dan, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
No trouble at all, Ariel.
Congratulations on the win. Physically, how are you feeling a couple days later?
No, I'm good. Got we both went to the hospital, got all checked out, all scanned. Nothing's broken, nothing serious, just a few bumps and bruises, and I'll be back to training by the end of the week, by the looks.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, before they announced the judge's decision, did you think you had won?
Uh, oh man, it's hard at the time. You're in the fight. You can't be focused on counting points or how fights getting judged. You're more just trying to look for ways to finish your opponent and focusing on the strategy. But I thought I controlled a majority of the fight, and I was pretty confident.
What was your corner telling you going into the fifth? Were they telling you you were up, that it was tied?
Oh, I knew it was a close fight, but for a majority of the rounds, so not too many adjustments were getting asked of me, and if you're not getting asked to adjust too many times, they didn't call for a takedown or anything. That's just something that I felt. I felt like a takedown would have separated us two coming into that fifth.
Paul Felder, obviously a very tough guy. You're a tough guy as well. Was there, and like we're showing some of these photos here, was there ever a point where you're hitting him with shots and you're like, man, this guy's not even going down? Like, what do I have to do to actually finish this guy? Are you having that internal discussion?
Nah, when it gets to the fight, you're just treating it as, I take the personality behind the body out of it. If I break the body down, if I stop the body, then I don't have to worry about the mental side of things at all. So I was more just focused on the physical side of things. But he's got one heck of a poker. He's one heck of a poker player. I can tell you that much.
What do you mean by that?
Like most opponents, if you land like a good punch or land like a good kick, you'll see like a slight grimace, or you'll see something like the guy will show a little something. But old Paul Felder, not once, and then you can see straight after the fight you know we've seen the damage that we inflicted on each other. So he's a good poker player.
I know it happened less than 2 days ago, but have you rewatched it yet?
Yeah, I've watched it a few times. I'm comfortable that I got the win. I thought I won the first, second, third, and the fifth round. So I'm confident I won a majority of that fight.
Okay, so you don't think there's any controversy. You think you won 4-1.
I thought it was pretty clear.
Okay. Does it annoy you to hear or to read so many people saying that they thought he won, that it was an outrage, all this stuff?
Oh, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. So it is. Look, Ariel. This is the first time I've ever won a split decision. This is the first time I've ever won a decision that's been questioned. So this is all new to me.
Mm. And how do you feel about it?
Oh, it's just the way. He's a tough guy. It took time. It took time. I had to play it smart. You fry. You fry fish. You don't fry brisket. Paul Felder's brisket. You got to slow cook it.
Oh, I like that analogy. We had the moment afterwards where he said he's contemplating retirement. What did you make of that? Were you surprised to hear him say that?
Yeah, I kind of saw him taking his glove off, and that's when I went over and I kind of tried to put his glove back on and lift his hand up, because that's not the moment you need to make those calls. Go back, be with your family. Have a talk to your partner, have a talk to your team around you, and then make that decision when you're at home and you're comfortable. In the octagon straight after a battle like that is not the time and place to make a big call for your career like that.
Yeah, and then you had the moment afterwards. We showed the photo on the stretchers, right, going to the hospital. What did you guys talk about there?
Yeah, so it was funny. They held us back they held me back at the entrance, and they're like, "Oh, his opponent's in." But one of my coaches, Carl Weber, he was outside at that time, and he's just like, "Bro, wheel them in." He's like, those guys are our best mates now." So the wheeled us in, and he asked he asked about my daughter. He asked how old my daughter was. I asked about his daughter. Shared a little bit of insight there, and then yeah, just wish each other luck for the future. You know, there was no animosity, no hard feelings. Like people, yeah, it's different. It's different when you get in there with a guy for 25 minutes. Like we earn each other's respect. Like from now until the day we die, me and Paul Felder have each other's respect.
Mm. Did you see him at the hospital as well?
Yeah, that was at the hospital.
Oh, okay. I thought that was at the arena. Did you? And I think he's still there, or was released not that long ago. Obviously, had to stay longer. His face was pretty banged up. Did you see him before you left?
No, I didn't get a chance to. I asked if he was all right. I asked, you know, just to make sure that he didn't have any kind of anything serious, or, you know, his eyesight was all right. Like there was nothing serious. The doctors aren't allowed to, you know, share information, so they let me know. Kind of, you know, they gave me just a generic thumbs up, like he's nothing serious.
Okay.
And that's about as far as they let me know. So that's good for me. You know, I'm happy that he's gonna be able to go back to his family in one piece.
I would imagine the young girl that you held after the fight, that's your daughter, correct?
Yeah, that's my daughter Zoe.
Zoe, it was a great scene afterwards, seeing you with her. Is that the first time that she's been to one of your fights?
No, she was there at Melbourne after I qualified as well. So she's been to two.
How does she react to seeing her father in the cage fighting?
She's still a bit young, you know. She's only 15 months. She was crying after the fight until I went up and grabbed her and then just let her know that you're all right. And she kind of turned and calmed down a bit. So it's good to have them there, man. You get definitely adds to the motivation when you're in the cage.
Speaking of motivation, you have another great card for City Kickboxing, right? The repeat of the three-peat, as he likes to say. And you have Brad Riddell and Kai Kara-France win, and now all eyes on you in the main event. As the night is going on, are you starting to feel a little bit of that pressure? Like, I can't be the one, you know, we need to go undefeated here. Do you think about that sort of thing?
Not at the time. Nah, not at the time. I was just focused on the task, focused on the job that I needed to do, and how I was going to get that done. More just the strategy side of things. Everything goes very cold. Everything goes very calm, and I take, you know, that's just that. At the end of the day, that's outside noise, you know. So I'm very good at controlling that, very good at turning that down, and just focusing on the task.
We showed a video before the fight of a ceremony where you and Paul actually had to touch nose to nose, and he went like through the whole team. Like Izzy was there, I believe. Kai Kara-France was there as well. You were there. What is that ceremony? What does it signify?
So that's a welcoming ceremony in New Zealand. It's called a pōwhiri, and the place we are is called a marae, and in Māori culture that's a spiritual place, and you know, it's like not of this world, and it's where people come together. So it was welcoming the UFC, welcoming all our opponents, welcoming them to New Zealand. But yeah, that's the funny thing about the culture. It's not necessarily, you know, the hongi where we go nose to nose is not necessarily a peace thing. You know, people in the past in Māori history, you know, hongi, and then they'll battle to the death. Like it doesn't mean it's not like a handshake. Yep, you're all right with me, mate. It can mean a lot of different things, but it was more just coming together and you know, the UFC let me know that Paul, you know, he didn't get made to do that. He wasn't told he had to come down. He chose to engage in the ceremony. He chose to come down when he didn't have to, and that I respect a lot.
True or false? It seemed like you kind of like kept your eyes locked on him just a beat longer, and you almost like went a little bit like the nose to nose with Volkanovski and Izzy and those guys. It was a little different than the nose to nose between you two. Is that accurate?
Yeah, for sure. So you have to follow the protocols. Like once you're on the marae, it would have brought it would have hurt the mana. Mana in New Zealand is like respect. It would have hurt the mana of Auraki marae. So it would have hurt the mana of the tribe whose marae we were in if I didn't follow the protocol, which is nose to nose, um, shaking hands. So follow the protocol, but that doesn't mean you're not entitled to let him feel your energy. So that's more I was letting him feel my intention while still upholding the mana of the tribe.
Fair enough. Now, getting to headline your first show in New Zealand in the UFC and everything that comes with that, right? And all the attention. Now that it's over, what was it like? Did you enjoy it? Was it different than what you expected? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I did. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed being in my hometown, getting to put a show on, for my home city. But yeah, it's definitely hasn't sunk in. It's a lot of pressure, but it's. I felt like it made me perform well. I feel like I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed every second of it.
Your story is unbelievable. I mean, even dating back to when it started, but even like a year plus ago, I remember watching that fight in Milwaukee against Edson Barbosa. And I remember talking to your coach, Eugene Behrman, afterwards and saying maybe the towel should have been thrown in, that you took too much damage in that fight. And you showed incredible heart in that fight. But to think of how far you've come, a year plus later, and now you're headlining shows and you're on this roll and considered one of the top lightweights. How did you turn it around so quickly?
I've always been able to come back. If you look at any time I've taken a loss throughout my career, and you look at what follows that, it's almost like it sparks. Like I feel like I do my best work when I'm under pressure. If I'm coming off a loss, or I'm coming off some hardship, or you put me on you put me in front of my hometown fans. As soon as you turn that pressure tap up and you put a lot of pressure on me, it seems to bring out my best performances. So for this fight, I tried to pile on the pressure, as much pressure as I could, because I feel like it brings out the best of me.
Final thing afterwards, you said that you wanted Gaethje. That's in a perfect world who you'd like next. Why him?
He's just an exciting guy, 6 fights, 6 bonuses. It's something that intrigues me. But then it looks like him and Conor are gonna go. If I was Conor, I would take the Gaethje fight too. That's a incredibly exciting fight. If he wants to stay busy. But if Gaethje's busy, then Poirier is the man. Either Gaethje or Poirier. Those are the only two options that make sense for me.
I like that Poirier one a lot. Yeah, the Gaethje one, far from done, but he is the front runner right now as far as what I'm hearing. Down to him and Diaz, and I would put him ahead a little bit for Conor, which I think is a fight that makes sense for both guys. Poirier was on my show last week looking for a fight as well, and I suggested to him the winner of your fight would make sense. So perhaps he'll be interested in that one,
right?
You're a
genius. You're a genius, Ariel.
I appreciate that, Dan. Congratulations on the win. That was a lot of fun to watch, and it certainly, I think, lived up to the hype, perhaps even exceeded the hype that we all had for it, the expectations that we had for it. It was a lot of fun, and I'm glad to hear that you're feeling okay a couple of days later. Thank you for that.
Cheers, brother. Good to go.
Hello, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.